Isadora Suntrail opened her eyes for the very first time on a warm morning, 8 July 1998, in a weather-worn lime-plaster cottage set just above the tide pools of Half Moon Bay, California. Outside, pelicans skimmed indigo swells, and the Point Montara foghorn hummed like a bass note under the sunrise. Her mother, a roving Afro-Latin percussionist who slips pressed calendula petals inside her conga case, tapped a slow heartbeat rhythm that sent the gulls swooping lower to listen. Her father, a coastal erosion surveyor who doodles cloud phoenixes on map margins, leaned close until their breath mixed and promised the newborn that riptides, rumor tides, and tiny column inches on a sizing chart would always yield to any spirit that stands full height and never folds inward. Curves flowed proud through every branch of the suntrail tree like freshwater feeding redwood roots. So no one fretted when baby Isadora split her second cotton blanket before the kettle rattled. Nana Paloma threaded a sailmaker's needle under every burst seam, slid in wedge of reclaimed tent canvas painted neon from an old music festival fly, and laughed that extra cloth cost pennies while teaching a child to shrink might cost her whole continents of future light. Kindergarten corridors held the scent of crayon wax, banana bread from Ms. Ortega's snack cart, and salt spray sneaking past warped sash windows. Isadora already stood half a head taller than her classmates, her shoulders blocking the overhead beam whenever she diagrammed food webs or pointed at the letter wall. One misty recess, two boys hop-stepped around her chanting cargo barger every time her rain boots landed inside the chalk boxes. That twilight, she prowled the low-tide flats, gathering soda caps, polished satin by Pacific churn, threaded them on fishing line, stitched the tinkling spine down the back of her sea green hoodie, and strode into class at first bell, scattering rainbow freckles across ceiling tiles. A substitute literacy coach caught 7 jittery seconds on a pay-as-you-go phone, posted the shimmer to a brand new video corner, and by lunch 15,000 strangers were clapping for the girl who hammered taunt into starlight. That night, Isadora wrote one sentence beneath her addition drills in lilac ink: "Clouds crowd only until you flash them bright enough to part." Weekends belonged to Pillar Point Harbor, where her mother's conga fills tangled with the hiss of garlic shrimp, dive boat engines yawning awake, and fishermen radios crackling saucer chords between weather calls. Store-bought jeans jammed halfway at Isadora's thighs, so she swapped tip jar quarters for sun-bleached kelp ropes, unraveled them into soft strands, crocheted high-rise shorts, misted sea otter silhouettes in squid ink, and posed at Tangerine Sunset against rust-flaked pier pilings while her cousin snapped grainy photos on a second-hand Canon. She dropped each frame into a diary she called Surf Lantern. The same week, a fresh photo app drifted across patchy coastal towers. Captors hopped between local slang and plain truths. Curves can anchor riptides steadier than breakwaters. Before her 16th birthday, 51,000 distant friends double-tapped every copper gold shot, proof that bright screens hush lunchroom whispers faster than any hall monitor's whistle. A scholarship for marine microplastics research pulled her south to Cal Poly. Daylight dissolved in micro-lap fluorescence. Nights belonged to a 24-hour empanada van glowing neon coral beside eucalyptus shadows. The heat lamp turned into her makeshift softbox. Between dulce de leche orders, she filmed 90-second reels, folding deli parchment into seaside daisy hairpins while decoding dart rotation in a voice half surf hush, half lecture spark. An uppy-layered harbor seal chirped over an 808 beat while she chain-stitched reflective lobster line into thrift denim. 2 dawns later, the view count cruised past 1.2 million. West Coast trend blogs crowned her the empanada couturière, yet every brand pitch landing in her inbox froze at size 16. Isadora slotted each proposal into a folder labeled shrinking nets, wiped chili oil from her cuff, and flipped another pastry. Spring Equinox brought a Pacific gale and one email that read, "Columbia Sportswear loves Surf Lantern." They asked her to co-design an adaptive shell capsule called Coast Pulse. She answered with 3 basalt solid terms. Patterns must stretch to 60-inch hips, half the creative crew hired from community college fashion programs, and 10% of every sale routed into kelp forest reseeding. From Baja to Cape Flattery, Columbia signed before first light etched silver fingers across the lab windows. The chute unrolled at dawn on a secret crescent cove where giant anemones pulsed green under glass-clear tide. Isadora coached Curvy paddleboard pilots across still water while a drone sketched infinity signs overhead. When the lookbook dropped, every extended-size coat vanished in 41 hours across 27 countries. Surf Lantern vaulted beyond 700,000 hearts. Still dusted with cinnamon sugar, she ducked behind flour sacks, balanced her phone on a crate of guavas, and live-streamed damp-eyed thanks under flickering fluorescence. Make this early splash. If the story already stirred your chest, hit subscribe right now. One light tap locks your seat at the rail so the very next chapter reaches you ahead of the algorithm tide turn. Spotlight shimmer beckon rumor galls. A gossip vlog claimed Isadora taped carbon plates around her waist beneath those Columbia coats. At sunrise, she paddled a cedar board beyond the kelp fringe, stood strong in sports bra and hemp shorts, traced each soft curve with crushed bougainvillea pigment, and rattled a conga pattern that made pelicans wheel overhead. 10 million viewers reposted the clip tagged bougainvillea proof, brushing pink leaf dust over their own lines until gossip ebbed like tide. Slack. This is braided with capsule royalties and spun into Suntrail glow, a whipped body custard folding coast pine butter, dragon fruit seed oil, and mica sparks that flare pearl under phone flash. 19,010s, cooled in her father's tool shed, lids tied with braided crab pot line, each label stamped moisturize your horizon. Stock drained in 82 minutes, raising $197,000, 10% birth beacon grants that drop industrial surgers, and field sound kits into plus-size teens makerspaces from Crescent City to Compton Creek. 8 months later, 36 grant winners staged a floating fashion and well-song showcase from a refitted dredge barge wrapped in LED seaweed, streamed live to Dawn Des from Helsinki to Harare. Los Angeles Fashion Week Wake New Jetty lore when a backstage fan tore her emerald mesh gown from rib to knee 90 heartbeats before showtime. Isadora yanked neon dock line off a lighting cart, laced the gash like boot eyes, and walked as if the splice had slept in every sketch. Camera shutters snapped like popcorn in hot oil. Vogue Pacific named the rescue rope. Cadence and another million Lantern Voyagers surfaced before the after-party DJ dropped track 1. Legend then leaked trimmed email suggesting she demanded spiny lobster sliders and chauffeured wave skis for her rescue otter Mocha. She posted the full thread showing refillable water urns, lentil stew for crew, caption screens for deaf stylists, then wired that month's affiliate stream $136,000 into biodegradable crab trap pilots along Monterey Canyon. Fans echoed her dockyard mantra, receipts shine brighter than rumor grit until whispers dissolved like sugar in salt water. Midsummer numbers glittered like sunrise diamonds. 6.9 million Instagram allies, 3.4 million real Voyagers, and 2 million steady channel subscribers. Engagement just under 10%, and sending brand decks back to blank templates. Cartier invited her to headline a Topaz Surge vignette filmed inside Pigeon Point's Century Lens. She said yes once Cartier pledged therapy step-ins for coastal shellfish crews weathering red tide layup. To finish real, her wrist scattering amber shards across iron ribs became Cartier's most saved post of the quarter. Family steadies her keel. Twice a month, she streams Sand and Symbols. Mom hammers funk grooves beside a portable skillet. Dad recites cloud haiku. And Isadora flips thrift denim under harvest moon fairy lights. One cast topped 9 million plays when Mocha slid through powdered sugar and sneezed a glitter storm onto the mic. A marine mammal rescue now sponsors every stream, tagging released otters with solar beacons funded by Suntrail Glow. Low revenue. Skipped past $12 million before its second equinox. She leased an empty abalone cannery, carved skylights through corrugated tin, and hired furloughed deckhands, plus design grads to whip custard and knot lids by hand during midday stretch dance sessions to cello house remixes. Packaging advisors begged for heat shrink bans. She quoted her mother's line, "Fingertips keep legend long after robots forget," and rope ties held. Honesty about mine weather threads through her feed. Tide pool portraits sit beside empanada truck selfies, tagged same sky, different weather. She shares breath loops recorded in sea caves, printable resilience pages in English and Spanish, and sliding scale therapy codes. 127,000 followers say her shoreline candor became their first calm harbor. Community rides sparkled beneath crushed shell paint. Hundreds pedaled the boardwalk at dusk wearing Suntrail glow on collarbones and LED tie glass tassels on spokes. Ticket proceeds expand beacon grants and raise will-chilled snorkel lifts at reef coves. Chowder huts simmer late because clam bowl sales rise 15% on ride nights. Isadora wheels the lead cruiser with mocha plush buckled in a wicker basket, pausing to knot any rider's loop. She is drafting a memoir titled Currents Keep Name slated for 11 language releases next spring, while a documentary crew follows her plan to convert retired weather buoys into floating maker hubs for isolated Pacific schools. Puma's wide-toe wave lantern sneaker splashes next quarter, threaded with reflective rope and cushioned by algae foam, with 10% of revenue flowing into Beacon seedlings all along the Ring of Fire. Second shoreline prompt floats in. If your subscribe button still shines red, tap it soft gray right now. One click guarantees the next rising swell will land in your notifications before algorithm winds shift. Find a playback quiets, one or into the description, waiting there. Fresh Suntrail glow drops, direct beacon grant links to night sand and symbols playlist, and one discreet compass, a science-backed set of conversation sparks and calm confidence drills, mapping the clearest path to genuine love and the most reliable way to help any woman feel authentic fascination. Free, wide open. If the soda cap spine rope cadence gown save or mocha's sugar sneeze lifted your grin, smash that like heart, drop your brightest ripple in the comments, and send this voyage to a friend whose sails hang slack. Every curve redirects currents, every scar refracts moonlight, and the Pacific bows to anyone who plants both feet on the pier and greets tomorrow eyes wide. Paddle Sea Whisper brushes the mic. Subscribe now, claim your reel, and meet me on the next sparkling tide when another story glints beyond the breakers and courage calls your name all over again.